Hello everyone. Let's start the lesson on citing and referencing. This is the part 1 on the APA style. We will begin with a brief introduction to the APA style and then move on to formatting rules for citations in text and bibliography or reference. We will then have the practice and quiz in the end to check our learning. Now let's begin with the introduction. To begin with, the APA style consists of standards established by the American Psychological Association to provide guidelines for academic writing with respect to organization of content, writing style for publication, citing, and referencing. While we follow the APA style for citing and referencing, we allow our readers to follow ideas and locate information more efficiently, meanwhile demonstrating our credibility in knowing whom we are writing for. In other words, if we wish to publish our works in certain disciplines such as social sciences including psychology, economics, linguistics, and so on, we will need to follow the APA style for writing, citing, and referencing. Now let's look at citations in text. There are different types of citations in text. For example, direct quotation, long quotation, direct quotation with no page numbers, and so on. We should bear in mind that all of these types are based on an author date method, only with a few variations. Now let's begin with the first type, direct quotation. We can either separate the author, date, and page numbers or put them together in the end, as shown in these examples. The second type is long quotation, which has to be freestanding and indented without quotation marks. In this case, the page number is often specified at the end of the quote. The third type is direct quotation of online material or HTML-based documents, where page numbers are often not applicable. In this case, we can include paragraph numbers instead. The fourth type is indirect quotation, which contains paraphrased ideas. Because the ideas are not directly quoted, page numbers are optional, but it's still better to include them. The last type is citation of a secondary source, which means citing a quote within a work by referring to the original source with the phrase as cited in. Although citing a secondary source is not uncommon in academic writing, writers are still encouraged to track down and cite the original work. Now we're moving from citations in text to bibliography or reference. Let's begin with the formatting rules. First, we should provide a full list of bibliography or reference for every citation in text at the end of our works. Next, we should organize each reference alphabetically by author and in the time order from more recent to less recent works. Finally, we should indent from the second line down for each reference, as shown in the example. Next, let's look at types of sources and elements of citations. In this lesson, we're focusing only on the books and periodicals in print, so there are 5 elements to be included in the bibliography or reference depending on which type of source we cite. These examples show what references of a book or a chapter in the book look. Note that when citing a chapter, we should put the editor's last names after their first name's initials, and include page numbers. As for articles in periodicals, we should include page numbers if applicable. Also, for magazines and newspapers, month and even date should be included in the publication date. Now let's practice what we have learned. For practice 1, let's complete the 2 citations in text with the information provided using direct quotation. We can either put only the page number or all the 3 elements at the end of the quote. Next, please complete the reference of the journal article. We should begin with the author's name and publication date. Italicize the title of the journal and include volume, issue, and page numbers at the end. Now, let's check how much we've learned. Quiz 1. Please write true or false for each statement about citations in text. The first two are true. The third statement is false because page numbers are optional for indirect quotation, although encouraged. The last statement is false because a cited in is used for citing a secondary source. Quiz 2. Please identify and correct the mistakes in the reference of a book chapter. First of all, the reference should follow the hanging indent format. Next, the editor's first name initials should be put before their last names. Finally, the title of the book should be italicized and the abbreviation PP should be used for page numbers. Now let's review our lesson on citing and referencing with the APA style part 1. These are 5 common types of citations in text which will follow an author date method of the APA style. And these are 3 major formatting rules for referencing in APA. Provide a full list of bibliography. List each reference alphabetically and chronologically, and indent the reference. Thanks for joining us for the lesson. This online course is funded by the Ministry of Education.